What's going on, fellas? I got two cool things to show you in this video. But first, I want to start off with this HEPA filter that I got from my shop. There's something really awesome about this thing that kind of sets it apart from other HEPA machines. Essentially, this particular HEPA filter has something in it called a VOC cartridge. This is not a carbon filter. Basically, what it can do is remove volatile organic compounds from the air. So if you're in your shop using things like acetone or painting and things like that, this filter has chemicals inside of it that remove all of these substances. I often use muriatic acid in here as well. And muriatic acid is pretty horrible stuff. It will rust everything in your shop if you're using it to clean parts in a little bowl. This is all the stuff this thing removes. The filter said to last up to 6 months, but as you can see, it does indeed remove acetone. And I just think this thing is awesome. I got the idea to use it in my shop after I read about their VOC filter. I do a lot of stainless steel work out here, and basically I just wanted to show you guys some things. So yeah, for the most part, man, I'm getting old. I'm to that point where I'm worried about the stuff that I breathe in. You know, I'm gonna have to buy a thermos, a robe, and a pair of slippers, I guess. But oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. I'm gonna run this filter in my shop for the 6 months that they say you get out of this thing, and we're gonna take a look at it. You can see here where I set a Petri dish on here a while back, and it definitely doing its job. I wanted to give you a quick look at the blower in this thing. It ought to be able to change the air out in this shop fairly quickly. So we're going to be taking a look at this thing, possibly. I want it so bad that I'm trying to work out a deal with the manufacturer. So that's why I'm doing this review, actually. Thought maybe I'd help them out and they could help me out. So let's check out the second part of this video and look at the disgusting stuff we're breathing in our house. If they do have me do a video in 6 months from now to see how much buildup is in this filter from powdered metal, plasma cutting, grinding, and painting and stuff like that, I will leave a link in the description for that video. I got a feeling I'm going to be pretty surprised at just how much dirt's in there. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you sleep with a fan at night, or if you have pets, you're going to want to see this. Okay, so here's some footage of dust in the air with the fan on. With the fan off, it's not much better, believe it or not. So this is the dust that you're breathing in, and this is the dust that's accumulating on the fan where I took the samples and in the air filters. So let's take a look at the disgusting filth that's growing on this dust that we breathe in all night. The story goes, I sleep with a fan at night, and I've been having some serious sinus problems, okay? Like waking up with yellow phlegm and all that. And I decided to take actions into my own hand. And I did a swab test of the fan blades of this fan, of the dust particles. And this is what we came up with. We got the same thing in the air duct system in the house. Now, the shocking thing about this is one of the more dirtiest things in your house is said to be the television remote. I want you to look at that, guys and gals. That is just horrible. The air duct is filthier than the television remote. The human hand, in comparison to filthiness. Also something that's said to be incredibly filthy. And that's my hand even. So the sink is very dirty. So next time you see your wife making salad in the sink, show her this video immediately. Here's my control to show that the Petri dish was okay. And this was the water test. So water does got a little bit of something funny going to it there. This here is the carpet and the toilet. The carpet, surprisingly, is not so bad. Not as bad as I thought. So what's the purpose of all this? So yeah, not only do your teeth rot out and you can't breathe and you're possibly getting sick, you know, when you're ill already, and your body's fighting off all that stuff, I am utterly blown away that my fan is filthier than my television remote. Busted out the big guns. What we have here is pretty much a super air filter system. This is the Enviroklenze massive HEPA filter, and it has an activated carbon filter, and it has 2 UV lights. They're 9 watts, so you got 16 watts of UV there. Check that bad boy out. This thing was on my porch last night. I just got back from a business trip, and got a little damage in shipping there, but I'm not going to worry about that. But I want to show you something about this thing that impressed me right off the bat. Look at the fan in this thing. Now I know this is about air filters, this video, but I am just impressed with this fan. That's solid metal, I think. Yeah, that's metal. That is not plastic. Check that out. Definitely a good breeze of air there. You can see it's holding that plastic up. Cool thing about this thing, it's got 2 UV lights that shower the back side of the filters, the dirty side of the filters, with UV light, which basically kills all this bacteria. So what I'm going to do is a little test of this machine, is I'm going to place these bacteria petri dishes inside the machine, not all of them, just the AC filter one and the fan one. And we're going to see how long it takes this UV light to kill this bacteria. This thing is so cool, man. Let's fire it up and get to killing some bacteria. I don't know what the power draw and all that is. There's another guy who did a review on this machine. I'm going to leave a link in the description. And he did a real thorough review, used a lot of equipment. He can tell you some stuff about this thing that I can't. So I am so glad I got this thing. This stuff was on my fan. You can see here the white spots are the dead bacteria. But man, I just can't believe my fan blades were that filthy. And we are showing a change. This is the dish that was not left in there. Okay, here's the unit. I have the sterile swabs in place. And one of the things I really like about this machine is that it blows the air straight up into the ceiling, not across the carpet, kicking up even more dust. There is literally no wind right here. Not until I get right there can I feel it. When you get right here, it's really blasting out of there. So we're going to take these swabs and do a bacteria test with them to determine how much dust that is contaminated is blowing out of the front of this machine. These swabs were never removed from the sterile container. We have an opening in the front and an opening in the back to allow an air passage. So we'll give this about a week of dust accumulation. I'm going to leave this thing running non-stop and we'll check it out. All right, guys, now I'm not even going to get into the subject of mold and fungus. We all know what that is as well. I'm not going to do mold and fungi test, but I can show you that I am someone worthy of listening to. This is my union card, and on this are a pretty large list of credentials, and one of them is I am ICRA certified, which means I had to read this entire book, and I had to take all the tests, and that is what was required of me to be a foreman or a superintendent on jobs in hospitals. In this class, they teach us that bacteria is 0.2 microns, whereas the HEPA filter limit is 0.3 microns. So you see there's a problem. So let's check this out. I want to show you something really cool here about this design. These guys are very clever in what they've done here. I love how they've placed the carbon charge filter on top of the HEPA filter. See, we got the lights. We're going to leave our petri dish in here, and we're going to give it a few hours and see what it looks like. I don't want to leave it in there too long because, let's be honest, we will kill the bacteria if we dry it out. We don't want to do that. We want to kill it with these lights. So we're going to let this thing run for a while, and bravo on the engineers of this machine. I mean, I'm very pleased to see that this filter isn't placed here or something stupid like that. Okay, if you're not familiar with UV light, it basically shatters DNA molecule. So if you're a single-celled organism, that's kind of a big deal. You ain't got but one cell to shatter. And hospital air duct systems deploy this to clean the air. I have been sleeping with a fan for years, and there's a couple times when I have been forced to sleep without a fan, and I wake up and I can breathe. Well, that's great, but I hate sleeping without a fan. It doesn't always have to be blowing on me, but I've got to at least have the sound and the air movement. Even in the dead of winter, fan blowing, windows open, man, all the time. Sometimes I can't do that, but for the most part, it's just pretty disturbing to find such filth on my fan blades. That was an actual swab test. So I'm not going to be sleeping with the fan anymore, and I'm definitely going to be washing my hands a lot more, because apparently they're just as dirty as the TV remote. Okay, so at this point I have replaced my $20 Walmart fan with a $700 Ferrari, but there's one good thing about overdoing it, is you never get accused of not doing enough.